Hey gang, back with another video for you today. As promised, I am reviewing one of the fragrances that I featured in the haul video, and today we're reviewing Purple Oud. This one by Christian Dior, or Maison Christian Dior, used to be called the Dior Privé collection. This is a 2018 launch. It is now available pretty much everywhere that has this collection of fragrances, but last year it was launched as a USA web exclusive. So when I was visiting Europe late last year, December and January, I wasn't able to find this fragrance at any of the boutiques, but this last May and April and May I was able to pick up a bottle and bring it back. I never ordered it from the website. So if you want to find out about this fragrance, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time landing on my channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and of course participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I've been a fan of the Dior Privé collection, which is now called the Maison Christian Dior collection of fragrances, but they've been doing some changes to the fragrances recently. They launched a whole bunch of new fragrances, eliminated a bunch from the distribution of the fragrances worldwide, made them boutique exclusive. I have videos about this topic on the channel, and I'll have links in the info box so you can watch those videos. But the discontinued or boutique exclusives that are available in the Paris boutiques, and sometimes I was told they're also available at the places in Paris that sell these fragrances, like Printemps and also Galeries Lafayette. So those fragrances are, of course, Vetiver, Eau Noire, Mitza, Milly Laforêt, Granville, Curcanage, Leather Oud, and I might be forgetting one, but those are the limited distribution fragrances. But this is part of a new collection of fragrances, and as I said, this was launched as a USA online exclusive. I wasn't able to find this at our Neiman Marcus store here in San Francisco that sells the Dior Privé collection or the Maison Christian Dior collection. And also, as I said, I was in Paris and of course London last December, January. This was nowhere to be found, and I was told it's a an online exclusive in the States. But this last couple of weeks ago, when I was in Italy and Paris, they were all over. So I did pick up a bottle. I didn't do it on the website, obviously. So this is created by Francois Demachy. It's a 2018 launch. It's Dior Purple Oud. Obviously, it has a purple color. As you can see, it's considered an oriental woody fragrance. And I find on the internet, various websites list the notes as oud, pink pepper, saffron, and orange. So this, along with Santon Noir, which is also still very difficult to find. Santon Noir was a Middle East exclusive, but available in London at Harrods and of course duty free. I didn't see that on my trip, on this trip. This was available. So I'm assuming that Santon Noir will get the same kind of treatment as well. We shall see. I'm hoping, so that you guys can get a chance to experience that fragrance, because I do enjoy that one a lot. And this one I enjoy a lot as well, but there's a couple of things I don't like about this one, and I'll let you know what that is all about. But the Santon Noir, I have a video comparing it to Egoiste, Chanel's Egoiste. You can check that video out as well. So what do we have with Purple Oud? So Purple Oud is one of the, for me, it's one of the better releases from the collection, but also for me, it's nothing original. It's been done before. I think what they've done personally is they've taken something that exists and they've kind of perfected on it, just like they did with Santon Noir, which I think is a better version of Egoiste. Here, I think what happened was when they launched the relaunch of all the Dior Privé fragrances, and then they renamed it Maison Christian Dior, all of those fragrances were very on the light side. They seemed very, very fresh and also leaning feminine. Not a lot of masculine releases in that collection. I found Balade Sauvage to be great, and pretty much that's the only one in that initial launch from a couple of years ago that I really liked. Everything else I felt just felt kind of flat. But this one, actually, now we have something more masculine. It is oud after all, and then the only other notes listed, as I said, are pink pepper, saffron, and orange. But the fragrance really has similarities to other fragrances. Once again, here we have something that is taking another fragrance and making it perfected or something. I'm not sure if that's what they were doing here. And I'm also not sure if it was an accidental incident that it became something that smells like another fragrance, but that's how it's acting like to me. But to me, this one kind of reminds me of a couple of, well, 3 different fragrances. First of all, there's Encre Noir, because there's a very vetiver touch in here, and I don't see vetiver listed here. So there's similarities to this one, but there's also some similarities to this one here. I think the orange in here and the grapefruit in here are kind of giving me this similar experience. But to me, more than these 2 fragrances, I experience this one right here, Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme. The leather in here, and even though there's no leather listed here, it's saffron and oud together make this very leathery experience. I get it very similar to this. In fact, when you first spray this fragrance, it does smell like the citrus in here, because there is that orangey touch in here, and that goes away pretty quickly, and then you start smelling vetiver, and the vetiver actually is more similar to the vetiver in here than in here. The only thing that I'm getting the similarities with in this and this is the orange, and in here it's grapefruit. And then, as I said, it becomes like vetiver in here, but once the vetiver is kind of fading, and even though there's no vetiver mentioned here, once that's fading, I get major touches of this one here. It becomes more like this fragrance, and it's the leather in here that the oud and the, I guess, the saffron together making for a very leathery experience. So that's why I feel like this is not a very original scent. It doesn't feel like it's very inspired. Well, it doesn't feel like it's very like original. It just feels like been there, done that. And even though it's a great scent, it does also go a little animalic, and I think similar to this one, because this one does go animalic as well. And that's why I think that the combo of the saffron and the oud is acting very leathery, and that leather is what we get to experience, that we experience here, similarly animalic. That's why I think this is also a very masculine release compared to the rest of the collection, and just not very original. But I think it's a great addition to the collection, because a lot of the people that tend to experience the fragrances from this line are people that don't have a lot of experience with like smelling so many different fragrances, whereas here I have experienced so many different fragrances, and I can kind of like, once I smell something, I can go, okay, that one does smell like that one. It could totally be accidental, they weren't really copying anything, or it could be something that's actually a copy. Like they said, we want it to smell like this, we're going to take this fragrance, drop it into this machine, it's going to spit out the notes, and then we're going to kind of twist it and shift it a little bit with the notes and come up with our own version. I'm not sure if that's what they do here at Dior, but you never know, they could. But if you guys have sampled Purple Oud, let me know if you get similarities to these 2 and then this one, because to me, once you get past the citrus in here and the vetiver in here, it becomes this fragrance. And of course, this is all about vetiver and leather, and this one has all of those. To me, I find this one a little more intense than this one, but I think longevity wise, even though this one doesn't, I guess comparing the 2, there's a lot more depth here, but I find this one lingers a little longer, just a little more closer to the skin than this one. I wouldn't call this a beast. I wouldn't call any of the fragrances in this lineup beast at all. I wouldn't call them intense. They do last, they have great longevity, but they don't project as loud as I want it to be in the lifetime. They get close to the skin pretty fast. Like this one, I would say about an hour in, or maybe a little over an hour, like an hour and a half, and it's this skin scent, close to the skin, but it does have legs, it does last, and I like that about it, because the fragrances in this lineup are not meant to be like the big projection and sillage monsters that some of us like. And I think the collection did used to be like that at one point. Like I remember smelling these fragrances back in 2012 when I first got into the whole perfume reviewing, collecting thing. And the fragrances, the experience of these fragrances were a lot more intense than they are now. They just kind of like been reformulated and just redone. This is a completely original release for this lineup, but things like Oud Ispahan, Leather Oud, those fragrances used to be a lot more intense, a lot more beefier, and now they're a little more watered down. They still smell great, but they don't have that oomph to them. They don't have that depth to them. You can kind of see through them rather than the vision is being blocked because there are so many like layers of intensity in the fragrances. And that's how I experience these fragrances from Dior Privé. They smell great. They do last. They're close to the skin. They don't have a lot of depth to them, if that makes sense. And the other thing I want to mention here is I don't think this is a true natural oud. It's the synthetic kind, at least to me, which again, once again, I'll say this, it doesn't matter. I think synthetics are great. I like the way it smells. I don't care if it's synthetic or if it's natural. If I like the way it smells, it doesn't really matter, does it? If you like the way it smells and it's a synthetic compared to a natural, then it's totally fine. The thing that I want to also say is, even though it's a synthetic, I'm not 100% sure, I'm pretty sure it is, there's still animalic layers in here, and that's coming from that saffron and oud combo, at least. Or maybe there is leather in here, they're just not crediting it. But the leather acts a little animalic, similar to this leather in here. So anyway, that's my take on Purple Oud. Guys, let me know if you've sampled this fragrance. Have you ordered it from the USA Dior website? Because as I said, it was selling there exclusively. I kept asking our Neiman Marcus, are you guys going to get the Purple Oud? Are you guys going to get it? This was like late last year, early this year. They kept saying no, 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 no. And finally, when I was in Europe, as I said, in Paris, this was all over the place. So I quickly bought a bottle along with the Balade Sauvage, which I really do like that one as well. That one's more of a fig fragrance, both fruity and green from the leaves, and also kind of beachy, ozonic. Anyway, this one's great. I like it. It's just not original. I feel it in these fragrances, but for some of you that don't have the experience of sampling so many different fragrances, it could totally be very original, and you might like it. And I think it's a great release. It's just, to me, it's not very original, and that's my opinion on this fragrance. That's another reason why I have it, because I do like it. So that is Purple Oud, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this fragrance. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Let me know if you guys are interested in sampling this one. Are you gonna look it up? Are you gonna buy a bottle, pick it up, or I don't know, buy decants or whatever? Put some comments down so I find out. Other than that, if you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.